Story 1. You need to stay curious about your partner. Keep asking questions and update your assumptions. You will never know everything about them, especially if years have passed and they have probably changed in some way or another. As soon as you start treating them like you already know everything about them, you begin missing many great opportunities to be surprised by them. Story 2. You both need space, whether it's a room, upstairs or downstairs, hobbies or similar. Nothing against the partner, but everyone needs space. I have been with my wife for 15 years, and one main reason for buying a house was that we needed separation. There is nothing bad between us, just a few moments of relaxing in your own space to decompress. Story 3. Always remember that it is you two against the problem, not you two against each other. This eventually solves every other problem if effort is made. Story 4. There will be times when your relationship feels dull and distant. It is exactly then that you need to be kind to each other. Small gestures make a big difference. Give a small gift or bring beverages they would not usually choose. Go on fun dates and sometimes simply agree to make time for each other. Once you live together and both have careers, if you are not careful, you can slowly become roommates rather than partners. Story 5. Talk about everything. Don't hide your feelings. Don't dismiss your worries. Talk. And when you do talk, don't get upset. Keep talking, be respectful to each other. As much as people like to pretend love is all it takes, it is a lie. There is so much more beyond love to make it work. Story 6. Go to bed mad. Get some sleep before you say something cruel. Address it again in the morning. Cruelty and resentment are killers. Story 7. You need good boundaries with your respective extended families. As your spouse, they need to prioritize the family they choose to build with you over the family they were born into, and vice versa. If your relationship and needs are often pushed back in favor of the relationship and needs of one spouse's parents or siblings, your family will suffer. It is one thing to spend holidays with your spouse's parents, have Sunday dinner, or help with occasional landscaping. It is another thing entirely if you can never be alone with your spouse because your in-laws are always at your house, invite themselves on your vacations, or expect your spouse to be at their beck and call. Story 8. Anything your partner does at the beginning of the relationship that irritates you will still irritate you 30 years later. Story 9. Extra blankets. Learning to cook their favorite food. Supporting each other's goals and dreams, hopefully to fruition. Story 10. Find someone you enjoy doing nothing with. Anyone can create magical moments by going on vacations and dates, but it is the person with whom you can socially recharge and who feels like home that will make all the difference in the long run. Story 11. You are not going to have a long-term relationship if your partner does not trust you. Do not engage in dishonest behavior. You are likely to get caught, and while they might forgive you, they will not trust you. That is the beginning of the end for your relationship once trust is gone. If you would not want someone to do something to you, do not do that particular thing to them. It is common sense, but apparently not everyone possesses that understanding. Do not speak negatively about your partner behind their back. Avoid actions that you know will upset them. Be careful about what you say and how you say it. This is the person you claim to love. Act accordingly. Story 12. Once you have the right mate, the real work is in keeping the romance alive. When you get comfortable, it is very easy to gradually fall into a rut. Over time, you are either growing together or growing apart. There is no neutral. Happiness is not getting what you want. It is wanting what you have. Garth Brooks. Story 13. Some days it is going to be hard to love them, so you need to consciously make the choice to love them anyway. Story 14. How much of a privilege it is to see someone you love so deeply and know so thoroughly grow old with you. My boyfriend and I have been together for 11 years, and he is growing his first gray hairs now. It excites me that I get to see that. Story 15. You both will change, and there will come a time 30 years in when you realize there are still things you're not entirely sure are compatible about the other person. But you stay committed because you realize that the good outweighs the bad, and you know that there is nobody else in the world who knows you like they do and has been through it with you like they have. You also know the core of them, and that is pretty priceless. I know for 100% sure, after being with my husband 30 years, that he is a decent human with a compassionate heart. It is not a question. And the idea of trying to figure that out in a whole brand new person. No thank you. Also, all the little idiosyncrasies about me he understands by now, and I understand his. I guess what I am trying to say is it is not perfect, and certainly after so many years the changes in each other could not have been predicted. So they are something to realize and accept. However, the history we have together, coupled with our mutual respect, makes all of that less important than the comfort of knowing we are each other's person and really truly know the other. I feel like I am rambling and not making a lot of sense, but hopefully you get what I am saying. Story 16. There is more to intimacy than sex. Shower together, cuddle, hold their hand, pet their hair. Love is a choice you have to make every day. These choices come in the most mundane actions like picking up or cleaning something so they don't have to, or making 2 cups of coffee instead of 1. Even if your partner isn't there to hear it, choose love. When someone jokes about hating their partner, don't laugh. Defend your partner when people are rude about your relationship, especially when it is your friends and family. Time apart gives you something different to talk about. Still invest in time together, but doing things by yourself provides new topics for conversation. The opposite of love is not hate. It is indifference. Do not become indifferent to the silence or space between you when it starts to grow. All of this must be mutual. Story 17. You need to put in the work, listen to each other, and give each other space. We have been together for 19 years. The last couple of years were very difficult, and now we are just finding each other again because we are putting in the work. We are talking more about our needs and not taking each other for granted. Story 18. Just be yourself. Her mom calls me an overgrown toddler because I am very expressive and excitable. She loves that about me because it shows how much I appreciate life. We are kind of on opposite ends of the optimist-pessimist scale, but we bring each other balance. I can often be too soft-hearted, and she definitely saves me from myself, and I save her from dousing people in gasoline and lighting them on fire, although some of them probably deserve it. Laugh together and laugh at yourself. In hard times or during fights, it is a great mood changer to bring up the silly things you both have done. Story 19. Maybe not a direct answer to your question, but it is the best advice I have ever received. Prioritize being in love over being right. Story 20. If your partner is not your best friend, if they are not the first person you think about when you want to share something that happens in your life, make it so they are. Story 21. You become more like each other. My wife has always been an extreme introvert, and I am the opposite. Over the years, she has craved time with people more, and I have come to appreciate and need solitude. Story 22. Sometimes going to bed angry is some of the most underrated marriage advice ever. Especially when you have been drinking or are tired, you are a much more rational and appreciative person in the morning. Story 23. If maintaining your relationship requires constant hard labor, it is not a good relationship. You need to work on your relationship, but the positive aspects should always outweigh the negative. Story 24. You have to consciously stay committed. If you are in a monogamous long-term relationship, it is possible to have moments when things are not so exciting in your relationship, and you may feel attracted to a third person. That is natural and happens to the best of us. You have to fight the urge to act on it. Story 25. Choose someone with whom you can be patient. Your partner is your best friend. I recently told my best friend forever that I knew he would let my hand go first if he had to choose between me or his wife falling from the edge of a cliff. The same goes for him and my wife. Find that in your relationship and you have made it to the top. Story 26. The bad news is you can never get anything back. The honeymoon phase, pre-kids freedom phase, adventurous phase, once they are gone forever. Pining over it and trying to rebuild it is a waste of time and a recipe for disaster and resentment. The good news is you get to imagine and co-create a new life together. How does it look? What traditions do you want to implement? Where do you want to be? How long will it take? What must be true to make it happen? It is up to you and your significant other to work together and make it happen. But it will never happen if you do not sit down together and imagine the life you want to co-create. Story 27. The joy and togetherness of having so much shared history. We have been together for 27 years, and at 46, this is a large part of my life that we have shared. My dad has been divorced 2 times and is married to his third wife. He has mentioned parts of his life that he cannot talk about, as they involve previous spouses. Story 28. You will not always be able to split the work evenly. Sometimes it is all one person. Sometimes you have to do their chores. What matters is that you are both on the same team. Problems happen when one person carries the load all the time for years and the other does not help. Story 29. My husband and I say I love you all the time and randomly. At one point, I thought it was too much, so I asked him, why this time? He thought about it and answered why. Now it is a regular thing we do. It makes a difference knowing we are thinking about each other, building a stronger bond, and feeling grateful for each other. Story 30. 2 sets of covers on the bed make everyone happy. The house is there to serve you, not the other way around. So if it is messy, or you turn your dining room into a study, that is fine. Sometimes you may not like each other, sometimes for months. As long as you do not lose total respect for each other, you can work on things and come back from it to a very good place. Story 31. I was going to say, you have heard all their funny stories and anecdotes on every topic 100 times, and you are going to keep hearing them. It seems like everyone else took this question more seriously. Story 32. Fate, soulmates, and destiny are all scams meant to help unhappy stepford wives gaslight themselves between doses of barbiturates. Nobody has to be together. Even after marriage, if you are still there in the morning, let it be because you chose to be there. Love is a choice you make every single day. Once you surrender that agency to fate, you abandon the mutual effort that makes a relationship truly meaningful. Story 33. Do not stay at home for days in a row. Go out daily for work or hobbies. Get space and give space. Never cross the boundary of respect, even during fights. Do not discuss important issues during a fight. To find solutions to problems, both need to be calm. Find opportunities to validate your partner. During random conversations, when you think they are right, take a moment to express that you think they are right. Story 34. You may one day be living in a massive, gorgeous loft together. And although your relationship is strong, a big fight is bound to happen. You will have no doors to slam or hide behind. One of you will huff to your stunning, deep green velvet couch 30 feet away from the bedroom area, and you'll be glad your partner was upset enough to take the beautiful couch because finally you can stretch out. But then you'll remember how much you love them and how, in their anger, they forgot their pillow, blanket, earbuds, and water, and you'll bring it to them even though you're annoyed. Huffily, but you'll do it. This happens after more than 13 years, if you're lucky. I love my husband. I brought him his things and we'll talk in the morning. Marriage. Story 35. Don't rush with anything. I'm so glad we didn't move in together when we first discussed it. We had time to learn about each other. We had time to be apart and learn to keep it going. We lived alone, so we knew how to take care of ourselves independently. We are now so synced that we often finish each other's sentences and have the same ideas. Now, living together is a pleasure. Story 36. Different hobbies are important. Not all hobbies have to be different, as you need some shared interests, but you also need hobbies and space for yourself. Do not be jealous of their friends. Let them go out and have a good time, even if it is with your couple friend group and you do not go along. Do not get jealous, defensive, or upset over it. Understand that this is normal and okay. People who get jealous do not last long in relationships because they cannot stop being angry over nothing. Having friends of different genders is okay for both of you. Respect their friends, but understand you do not have to be friends with them as well. Just be nice. Story 37. Stephen Sondheim actually said it best in my opinion. You are always sorry. You are always grateful. Everything is different. Nothing has changed, only maybe slightly rearranged. You are sorry, grateful, regretful, happy. The point is that a relationship is hard work, but it comes easily if you are doing it with the right person for the right reasons, if that makes sense. Both of you will have to ask forgiveness from each other many times, and you will have to give it when you do not feel like it or when the other person is too proud to ask. You will be glad you said the harsh thing that was true, and you will be sad it came out that way. They will break your heart. You will break theirs. What matters is putting each other back together. Story 38. If both partners experience significant trauma in their childhoods, they may face relational challenges. Trauma-informed couples therapy can be life-changing. I benefited greatly from it both as an individual and as a partner, even more than from individual therapy, where only your own perspective is addressed. You do not have to wait until something serious is wrong to seek help. Story 39. I think a big part of it is how you fundamentally view the relationship and communicate about it. My partner and I have always spoken about how whenever something comes up, it is us versus the problem and never him versus me. Remembering that when we get frustrated with each other has really stopped us from taking it out on one another and has meant we can work through it together. We have been together 7 years now and are getting married in 5 weeks. Story 40. All those who say relationships are 50-50, no, it is not. Sometimes you might need your partner to step up more and vice versa. Many long-term relationships have gone through so much together. Death of a pet, loss of a loved one, losing jobs, falling out with friends, health problems, bad days at work, and more. If you truly believe relationships should always have equal effort to work, think again. Story 41. Sex in a long-term monogamous relationship is different from the sex you have when you are courting. The level of excitement, novelty, and euphoria you feel with a new partner is unique to the courting or honeymoon phase of a relationship. Sex remains enjoyable and wonderful but is not the most important driver or glue of the relationship. When I was younger, after the courting phase ended, I left relationships because I was not experiencing the same excitement, if any. That was confusing to me. I thought it was not a match or that I was not in love. In fact, it is work and a journey you take with another person. It is not all about me getting a feeling of euphoria. Story 42. Acknowledge each other's words. A couples therapist told my wife and me that one of the key factors he noticed in couples who stay together is acknowledging each other's words. For example, if you and your significant other are sitting together and she says, "Oh, look at that cool bird," you take the time to look at it and respond. Sometimes you may not care about the bird, and sometimes you are busy with other things, but it does not take much effort to look up from what you are doing and say that is indeed a cool bird. Story 43. You do not like yourself every day. Do not expect to like your partner every day. Be patient and be fair. Being fair might be the hardest thing you will ever do. Story 44. All the things people say about new relationships simply do not apply. Many experiences have been tested. External challenges push you back into what you think are familiar situations, but something has changed. Neither of you really know exactly what, but you have to get through it or the relationship fails. None of that masculinity nonsense or anything else will help you now. Only the connection you have developed with your partner will be useful. Story 45. The obvious manipulation with clear artificial intelligence responses in this thread is surprising, and I cannot believe so many people are falling for it. Story 46. It's okay to have alone time. It's okay to have completely separate interests. She likes her shows. I like my video games. You don't have to force yourself to enjoy the other's hobby. Story 47. Kindness is more important than honesty. Don't lie about significant things that matter, obviously. But when asked for your opinion, and it's a negative one that will displease your partner, how was the movie? Do you like this shower curtain? Isn't my friend so great? Pause. Does it matter? Does my partner need to know my real grumpy opinion on this? Am I being a vibe killer just because I'm prioritizing honesty over kindness? Is it more important, maybe, to be a good companion in this moment? It's all just little moments, one after another, until one of you dies. Try to make most of them nice moments. Story 48. Your opinions on anything are not theirs. Your humor is not the same as theirs, and just because they do not say so does not make either of these statements false. I learned the hard way that what came out of my mouth was not the same as the thoughts she had in her head. Naive, I know, but when I say I learned, I really mean it. I learned my lesson and have since changed. I am much more thoughtful and understanding. I listen a lot more now that I am older, whereas when I was younger I would just say things and assume if she did not say anything that she did not disagree. Do not be a younger me. Learn from older me. Remember that she, he, they, or whomever you are with is just like you in that they are their own person. They have opinions and views that may vary significantly from your own, despite what your arrogant self thinks. Story 49. Have accountability often. Accountability and admitting mistakes is important. Defensiveness and stubbornness just make everyone upset. 99% of the time I have made an issue about something, I later just wish I had let it go. If they want hugs and kisses every day, make sure to do it. An excellent husband means I am doing things before they are even asked, like laundry and dishes. Story 50. Liking each other is more important than feeling love towards each other. Once you stop liking each other, it all falls apart. Story 51. Read and learn all you can about marriage, relationships, and how they change. Loving a partner looks different depending on which season you are in. Dating boyfriend or girlfriend, engaged couple, newly married with no children, first baby, infants, parenthood, toddlers, teenagers, empty nesters, caring for aging parents or parents' death, children marrying, grandparenthood, caring for an aging partner. A wise person recognizes when a season is coming and prepares by studying and learning about the challenges ahead. Seek out mentors who have successfully navigated these stages and ask what they have done. Both of you should intentionally foster relationships with older and wiser people who can help you navigate these transitions. If you cannot find these people in real life, the next best option is finding good authors. Have regular check-in times where you ask how each other is doing and how you can better love your spouse. Here are some questions I try to regularly ask or say to my wife. How are you doing? What can I do to love you more? Is there anything I need to apologize for? What are your hopes and dreams? What can I do to help you accomplish your dreams? Thank you for doing. You are really good at. I really appreciated it when you. I felt hurt when you. I forgive you for. I really feel loved by you when you. Here are my hopes and dreams. My wife and I usually have a chance to talk and pray with each other each morning. This check-in time is vital to keeping our relationship healthy. Dream, plan, and do things together that you both love. Have things that you do separately that you enjoy, and encourage each other to engage in your own hobbies. But these side interests should never overtake your main priority of being a couple and loving each other. What a great question. Thanks for asking it. Now I need to go practice what I preach. Best of luck to you. Story 52. You need to choose your partner again every single day because you know your life is better with them in it. There have been times when I have not really liked my husband, but I chose to love him because feelings come from actions. 9 years in, and I still cannot believe how lucky we are to have each other. Story 53. Strengthening your relationship even when you do not think it is necessary is important. Do not become complacent because you do not know what challenge will be thrown at you next. I am not saying it is a constant battle, but if your partner is that important to you, it is good to be prepared because there will be hard times no matter what. Story 54. Two minds can essentially become one. The longer you are with someone, the more you find yourself having those odd moments where one person says exactly what the other was about to say. It is one of the pure joys of a good marriage, in my opinion. Story 55. That it is just about choosing each other every day, even when it is boring, annoying, or not picture perfect. Love is not always fireworks. Sometimes it is folding laundry together and not killing each other over what to eat for dinner. Story 56. The disagreements do not magically stop one day. You do not instantly understand everything about your partner or know how to communicate after a certain number of years. You always have to work on it. As partners, you constantly grow and change in many different ways. Story 57. I grew up watching really unhealthy relationships and was told how scary and difficult it is to love someone. My mother's relationships never lasted more than 7 years and were always tumultuous at best, abusive at worst. My father's marriage has been long but tense, and according to them, there will be cycles of being okay and then maybe a few years when you don't like each other. Turns out, when you stay in communication, respect your partner, put effort into supporting your partner, continue to explore them afresh every day, and draw good boundaries, you don't have to hate your partner periodically. I was shocked to find myself constantly loving my husband more. There are periods that feel almost like falling in love again. Only it's more a feeling of unlocking a new, deeper love. I find myself constantly fascinated and in awe of my amazing husband and who he has become over the last 13 years of knowing him. It turns out if you pay attention to the relationship and keep putting in the effort, you don't have to have bad years that you push through. Difficult things happen to us, but we have never been the difficult thing. Story 58. If you have been together since you were very young and you managed to grow together, what people do not tell you is that it just gets better and better. Story 59. That all the little things become big things. Is it okay if I eat in bed? My last boyfriend always used to get mad because I left crumbs everywhere. Sure, what a jerk. 3 years later, I am screaming about crumbs, and she is screaming because I said it was okay. I would definitely treat the little things in a relationship like a pipe leak. Maybe it's just a seal, nothing serious, an easy fix. Maybe your pipes are going to cause major problems in 6 months. It does not hurt to take a second to pause. Story 60. You do not get tired of them. But do you get bored being with the same person? Are you the same person you were 5 years ago or 10? Well, neither are they. You both grow together and evolve. If it is with the right person, then you evolve in ways that keep you connected and in love. There are still new experiences that keep things feeling new. Story 61. Respect and validation for your partner's opinions and feelings are absolutely imperative in a successful relationship. The same applies to any friendships. Story 62. Inside jokes accumulate. Eventually, there will be thousands of situations where you can exchange knowing looks with your partner without saying anything. At some point, an outsider might assume you have telepathy. Story 63. Together 30 years. Married 28. Stay in tune with their daily life. You should be on the same page regarding long-term matters before you marry, but daily successes, stressors, and frustrations change constantly and deserve your attention. It is you two against the world, and they need to trust that you will be there for them. If you are truly committed, this should come easily. Story 64. You hear people say that relationships have ups and downs all the time. That doesn't just apply to getting into fights, arguments, or financial hardships. It can mean very low lows and very high highs. You may get so busy or stressed that you start building resentment or you get bored. Love is a choice that you have to work on every single day. Things you used to like about your partner may start to annoy you. When things get hard, you have to actively push through and communicate with your partner. You have to work together to sort through your issues and come up with solutions. One-sided effort is not enough. Attraction is not enough. A good relationship is hard work. It may be easy spending time together because it's your partner, so of course you like being around them. But to build a life together, you have to accept the good and the bad and figure out, together, how you plan to work through certain obstacles that may come. How would you show up for each other and work together if someone you love dies? How do you work through grief together? What is your plan if one of you loses your job or develops a time-consuming medical issue? If you want children, what are your parenting styles, and how can you come up with compromises? How are you going to keep track of and handle finances? What would you do if something happened to your home? If one of you suffers a mental health crisis or develops substance abuse issues? These are all very real possibilities for everyone. Unfortunately, people do not talk about these things enough, so when they happen, one of two things happens. You either push it all down and build resentment and more issues down the line, or you give up completely and let what you have built together fall apart. You have to pick and choose your battles and love each other with kindness through it all. Story 65. Doing the dishes and cleaning with your cell phone is a great way to watch television in peace and keep her happy. Story 66. For my wife and me, it is always about remembering that even though the children are our world, there is no family without the two of us being together as a couple. We have to continue to communicate to be on the same page, make each other feel whole when needed, and maintain the intimate and sexual portion of our relationship to ensure the foundation of our family stays solid. 20 years deep, and our relationship has stayed strong, loyal, and loving throughout. Story 67. My boyfriend and I have been together for 9 years. It is not perfect. There have been many ups and downs, but we never stop trying. We are more than partners now. We are best friends, soulmates, and lovers. We will always have each other's backs. Therapy helped a lot. Story 68. Things you previously enjoyed doing alone, you start doing with your partner. Now it feels wrong doing them alone because you miss them. In my case, hiking. I loved being alone in the woods. Now I only think about how much my partner would love this. Story 69. There are ups and downs, bad years and good. People change. The goal of long-term commitment is that both people change and grow together in positive ways in the same direction. This takes work both as individuals and as a team. If you do not recognize your partnership as a team, you might start seeing your partner as an adversary. This leads to misery. People who stay together long-term in an adversarial partnership are the most unhappy people you will ever meet. Story 70. You should truly love each other. We both annoy each other, but we genuinely love each other. Over 10 years. Story 71. You are not going to like that person every day, but loving them is a long-term game. Staying in your marriage mentally and trusting that both partners want to forge a path ahead together is essential to not giving up on your spouse during times when you do not necessarily like them. Story 72. I read this somewhere, and it sticks with me. You will fail your partner, and they will fail you. You will say the wrong thing, they will do something foolish, but you have to give each other grace because we are all human. We will make big mistakes, small ones, and everything in between. You will both fail, but the key is to never give up on each other. Keep forgiving. Keep talking. Keep choosing the other. Story 73. I notice with many couples that they actually cannot stand each other but do not always admit it to themselves. Maybe they think marriage has to be hard work or something similar. Also, if children are involved, it is difficult to walk away. I love my partner. I look forward to coming home to him every day. I love spending time with him, and I love talking to him. If your partner starts setting your teeth on edge, then it is time to investigate this instead of covering it up or suppressing the irritation. Story 74. It is okay to not have all the same interests. It is okay to be different, and it is okay to have different opinions. What matters are the compromises we make and the communication we exchange with each other. Story 75. 25 years ago, we met in Yahoo Games. He came down from Canada and never left. Understanding, open communication, and friendship define our relationship. I know he is the only person in this world I can rely on. Story 76. Have separate blankets on your bed, especially if both of you toss and turn or sleep balled up in the covers. We eliminated many sleepless nights and fights as soon as we got our own comforters. Story 77. You will both change. The 33-year-old man I have a toddler with is not the high school sweetheart I went to prom with. Even while living together, circumstances changed us both in our own ways. Just like getting older, the change is subtle day to day. But a decade later, we may be totally different people. It is up to both of you to learn to love the present person, but also, if things get too different, to be true to yourself. That is why shared values are the most important trait, in my opinion. They ensure that even with change, the internal motivations will keep you two connected. Bonus answer. Children are catalysts. They will strengthen a strong bond built on respect and good communication, and they will destroy a relationship that is under strain. No baby has ever fixed a relationship. My husband and I are delicately balancing the roommate line and trying to be there for each other romantically, but no matter what, he is my absolute best friend and the only person I trust with my child. Being child-free is a valid life choice, and some relationships can do fine forever unless a dependent is added. Story 78. My partner and I have been married for 25 years. Here's what I've learned. 1. You have to like the person. Attraction isn't enough. Marry someone you love talking to. Someone you would call or message every day, even if you weren't together. 2. Marriage is both a verb and a noun. Think of it like an ecosystem. It can only be healthy with constant monitoring and adjustments. 3. In your lowest moments, try to see the child in your partner. People are products of childhood pain, but we forget that. We think they're just being difficult for no reason. If you can see the child in your partner, you'll find it easier to meet them where they are. 4. Time itself is protective. The longer you stay together, the easier it becomes to bounce back from small disagreements. Try your best to stick it out, absent abuse or harm to your children. 5. As you get older, especially if your sex life has waned, you might be tempted to start over with someone new. Think twice. There's a good chance you'll soon face a health crisis that will bring you to depths of humiliation you can't yet imagine. It's easier to face the indignities of aging with someone who knew you when you were young and still sees that version of you, even when they're changing your diaper. Story 79. Be comfortable doing silly, goofy things around each other. Be yourself from the start. Don't pretend. It never works out if you overwhelm a person with affection in the initial phase of your relationship and then suddenly stop. Having independent hobbies is not necessary, but if you do, that's great. Take time for yourself as well. Enjoy an active and fulfilling intimate life. Communicate your desires. Your partner might appreciate them and actually follow through. Story 80. You can keep falling more in love. I'm not going to get all sappy, but I've been with my husband for 16 years now, and I love him more every day. He's my best friend, my lover, my confidant, kind of my everything. There's a lot of comfort in that, and it comes with some work too. We aren't Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, but we do fall asleep holding hands every single night of our marriage, and I love that most of all. I just think it's so romantic. Both of us were married with children before. We both had full custody when we got married. My 2 girls, his 3 boys, and our 5 dogs. It was crazy back then, but we stuck through it all together. And it's been totally worth it. He and I both work from home and basically spend most of our time together. Just the 2 of us now and 1 dog. Story 81. Relationships are harder when life is harder. If you and your partner are stressed, even if you love each other and are on the same team, challenges like an especially difficult child or economic hardship can create difficulties. You have to work hard together to prevent these stresses from coming between you and filling the cracks, but both of you must step up together. Story 82. If you are lucky, be best friends with your partner. You will talk about everything, and they will know and love you for who you are. They will feel the same way about you. It does not get boring if your best friend is the person you get to live with and spend your life with. Story 83. It takes active effort that should eventually feel natural. When it feels natural, you should return to making it feel active. Once you feel you know what is best for your partner, or you think you have them completely figured out, laziness and complacency can creep in. I love my wife and I remind her frequently that I think she is interesting. We are always asking each other questions and telling and retelling stories. I like to hear her speak. Story 84. It is easy to fall in love, but it takes work to stay in love. That is not a bad thing. You always have to be engaged, curious, and hopeful. If both people do this, you will always have that youthful spark together, which becomes a very warm, comforting flame. Story 85. Just know that one day one of you will be taking care of the other. We have been married 51 years. He is 81 and I am 76, and I can see it coming. Story 86. No matter how good things are, you have to be honest about things that bother you. It might stay that way, it might continue to bother you, but if you say nothing, it will build resentment or become a bigger issue later. Sometimes it is genuinely silly and avoidable problems that turn into really dumb arguments. Too long. Didn't read. Communicate clearly. Story 87. Opposites attract is false. Find someone with shared interests and hobbies. You do not have to have all the same hobbies and interests, but overlap is important. That way, when you are not feeling love or lust as much, you still have friendship to support you. Story 88. Little things matter. Remember how your partner likes their coffee or whatever. Foot and back rubs after rough days. Understanding how to support them when they are not in a good place or mood, trauma-informed care. Story 89. Love is a choice, a daily commitment, more than a feeling. Feelings will fade, and emotions will often get you in trouble. You still make that choice every day. Sincerely, 26 years and still going strong, and both marriages of our parents lasted nearly 50 years before one spouse's passing ended them. Story 90. Inevitably, if you are with someone long enough, you will change, and so will they. As a result, you will date, marry, and age with different people even while you stay faithful to each other. People change with time, and you will love every version of them. Story 91. Separate bedrooms. If we didn't have separate bedrooms, we would have been over years ago. With his snoring and tossing and turning, I was getting no sleep and was furious. Now I'm perimenopausal and sweating all night. He's so happy I suggested separate bedrooms all those years ago. Everyone gets a decent sleep. Story 92. Try your hardest to make it through a difficult period. I think a lot of breakups happen during tough times. Dig deep and consider where you are accountable for the part you play in the situation. While you are in it, ask yourself, if things get better, do you still want to be with the person? If the answer is yes, keep going. Story 93. If you start to have feelings for someone else, examine what that feeling is, as it reveals what is missing in your relationship. Story 94. You are not the same person you were 5, 10, or 20 years ago, and you should not be. You have a choice. Grow together or grow apart. Keep dating. Keep making each other laugh and smile. Make time for each other. Surprise each other. When you kiss each other, focus only on that moment. Have those moments often. Story 95. I have been feeling a bit of a roommate rut. Reading these comments has made me tear up and think, yes, I really do feel that way. That is how I know he is my person. Story 96. It is okay to find your own groove. Some people are more introverted and do not want to spend every minute with their partner. Honesty and acceptance are paramount. Story 97. Plan surprises, surprise date night, and similar activities. I will tell my wife 2 weeks or more in advance to block off a specific date. She finds out what is happening later. Do things together, experience life, and communicate. Story 98. When people older than you say, "Oh, just wait. You will be miserable one day too." Tell them to be quiet. Misery is not normal. Do not settle for it. Story 99. A sense of play is important. It requires the security of both of you knowing you can be the inner child around each other. Story 100. Have to remember each person in the relationship is their own individual. When you have been with someone for a long time, you start to forget who you are and become dependent on each other. Remember that you are your own person. Take space and rediscover your hobbies. The point is to grow together, not be dependent on each other. Story 101. It is possible to be with someone for years and realize you still may not know them. In my case, my partner turned out to be quite the opposite of what I thought he was. Some people are not what they seem, and they may have developed extensive coping mechanisms to hide who they really are. I made the mistake of trusting words and promises too much, and the actions that followed were always just enough to allow me to believe the facade. If there are imbalances in the relationship, pay close attention. Story 102. If you are an introvert, be with someone who travels for work. You get the space you need, and you miss each other just enough to be happy every time they come home. Annoying habits are less annoying. Also, if you are married to someone in the airlines, those flight benefits are wonderful. Story 103. Separate bedrooms are excellent. You can still enjoy spending time together and being intimate, but it is great to have the option to sleep separately sometimes. Story 104. You may marry the nicest and most selfless person you can imagine, and be incredibly grateful that the universe provided such a partner to you. Yet, that person will one day make a decision that hurts you deeply. It may not be intentional or meant to cause harm. It could be the result of a rare moment of short-sighted thinking or an unthinking emotional response by your partner. Perhaps they did not think things through, were overcome by feelings in the moment, or chose a shortcut to fix a situation. But that ordinarily kind and great person will hurt you in a profound way. Your ability to recover from that and see your partner's mistake in a larger, more compassionate context is key to moving on and healing the relationship. That recovery, if it happens, may take years. Story 105. In our South Asian culture, there are many things they do not tell about maintaining a successful long-term relationship. This is what I have learned after 18 years of marriage that helps to stay together happily. 1. Support your partner in front of others. 2. Financial goals must align. 3. Know your partner's triggers for anxiety and try to help relieve them when you can. One act can be noticed. 4. Do not stop dating your partner. Have dinners at least twice a month with engagement. 5. Grow with your partner. It looks different for everyone, but if you see an opportunity, take it. 6. Have alignment on the parenting styles you both agree on. 7. Lastly, have hobbies that you enjoy together, such as biking, running, reading, and gardening. Story 106. Do not save couples therapy as a last resort to save the relationship. Start when things are good and treat it as a maintenance tool to keep you and your partner on the same page. Life changes and you both will change, so addressing things early is a huge help. Story 107. Together for 30 years, married for 23. Some days love is a feeling and emotion, and other days love is a decision. On those days, you might not feel particularly in love. You might not even like your partner very much. But you get up, believe in your relationship, and decide to love them anyway. Story 108. My husband and I met when we were 14, started dating at 17, and married at 26. Over the years, we have become completely different people compared to who we were when we first met. You will see your partner go through different stages of life and they will change. Sometimes it feels like you are trying to fall in love with a new person. Growth and change can be exciting, but they can also be really challenging for a relationship. Story 109. Do not do drugs. Do not cheat. Do not lie. Be kind. Actually listen to your partner. Try not to let your emotions get the best of you. Have respect for your partner and yourself. See a therapist if you are struggling with issues from your childhood. Story 110. Intimacy is not required to keep the relationship happy and alive. It is nice to just be in a room with them or lie in bed doing whatever you are doing. Not being physical does not mean your relationship is unhappy. It is wonderful to just exist together. Story 111. In the end, when one of you passes, if your affairs are not in order, you inherit nothing. Marriage has its benefits for this reason, as you are considered next of kin. Without marriage, a will, or a trust, everything goes to the next of kin. Also, talk about the hard things. What do you want done with your remains? What do you not want done? I understand that it is a morbid conversation, but it is necessary. Those who experience a sudden death are in no way prepared to handle quick decisions while managing their shock and grief. Story 112. Couples therapy does not have to be only for when things get really difficult. Sometimes, having a mediator can help when you have communication issues. It might be the way you both express yourselves that causes arguments, or you could be speaking completely different love languages. In any case, it is a great resource to use, especially if you and your partner are thinking about or approaching marriage. It helps to open up and bring about the hard and uncomfortable conversations. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.